Guys, I'm going to show you how to thread the bobbin for the buttonhole machine. So first of all, you want to put the spool pin the spool thread right on top of the spool pin and run the thread from back to front. Okay, you don't need to unthread the machine top thread in order to wind a new bobbin. So we're going to use this very thin bobbin that's specific to this machine. If you're not sure if you have the right size, take the old bobbin out of the machine and check to make sure that it matches in size. So right now I have a white one, but I want to make sure that the diameter and the width is the same. So now I'm going to make a pink bobbin. So the first thing we want to do is go through this back thread guide, go around the tension wheel. It's really important that that thread gets caught in here, and then down and through this hole. Okay, pull it tight so that the thread will kind of get out of the way of the bobbin housing. Now I'm going to just gently wind the thread around the bobbin a few times in a counterclockwise direction, so it should be going around like this. Put it on the spool pin and then press up like this. Would help if the machine was on. And your bobbin should wind on there easily. Once it's full, it kind of goes slow, but once it's full, it will kick off. You're looking for a nice, tight bobbin. Okay. If you don't want it completely filled, you can just stop it, pull it off, and cut. Okay. Now, once we have our bobbin, I want to show you how to put it into the bobbin case and insert the case into the machine. So we always want the bobbin to be, when you pull the thread, to be moving in a counterclockwise direction when we put it into the case. So drop it into the case like this, and you'll see a little notch on the outside of the case. Put the thread through the notch and then underneath this little black tension disc. Okay, once you have that, you're ready to put the case into the machine. So bring the case around here to the front, and the machine bobbin case housing goes onto this pin right here, right underneath the needle. Click it in, and you're ready with your bobbin. All right, folks, I'm going to show you how to thread the buttonhole machine. So right now we have the machine threaded with white, and I'm going to switch that out for this pink thread so that we can see what we're doing, and I can show you the process. So I'm going to put my thread on the spool pin, and then just like a regular machine, I'm going to thread through this tension from back to front. Okay. Normally, if you wanted to change the thread color, you could just tie the threads together here and gently pull the thread through the machine to change the thread color. This is the easiest and the fastest way to change the color of the thread. However, if you come to this machine and there's no thread in the machine at all, I'm going to show you how to rethread it from start to finish. Okay. One good thing about this machine is that there's a diagram over here that can also walk you through it step by step. If you have any questions in this video, doesn't fully answer all of your questions, you have that as a backup. Okay. So step number one, you want to go from front to back and over the top through these two guides like this. Okay, step number two is to come around the back side of this tension disc and put the thread so that it goes in between these two flat discs. Next step is to go here, through this thread guide, down and out, through the bottom one, like that. Then down and around this guide. Make sure that it sits nicely in that thread guide. Behind this tension wire, like that, so you should see it move like this. Behind this bar, and in to this little guide. Now at that point, you kind of need to go under this bar so that you can get to the take-up lever right here. Okay, so it goes up through the take-up lever, around through this thread guide, through this thread guide, and you're just guiding it down to the needle. Through this guide. And then most importantly on this machine, intuitively you would want to go front to back through the needle, but on this machine we're always going to thread back to front. You may need a threading guide to do this, like a threader, but I'm going to try it with the naked eye. Okay, great. Now you're ready to go. When you rethread using a new color, before starting the machine, you always just want to hold on to the thread like this so that it doesn't spin out of the machine. If you've used this and made a buttonhole once before, there will be a little hand that picks up the thread and holds it in place. So you don't have to do this every time, just if you've changed colors. All right, and now we're ready to go on to stitching. In this part of the video, I'm going to show you guys how to operate the machine. So the first thing that we need to know about the machine is that the tools for this machine are in this drawer. There's a few screwdrivers in here if you ever need to adjust anything with the throat plate, but typically that's a question for the lab tech. The most important tool that you're going to have in here is this Allen wrench. This is important because if you need to change the length of your buttonhole, I'm going to show you how to do that first in preparation for sewing. So you can open up this little plate, a silver plate. You don't have to take it all the way off, but you can if you want. It just slides in like this. Okay, and lift up this little flap, and it will show you some numbers on range. This is going to be, this little pointer right here is going to show you exactly how long your buttonhole, you want your buttonhole to be from the start to the finish on the inside. So if you want to change this from a 1/2 inch buttonhole to, let's say, a 3/4 inch buttonhole, you just want to take this tool and loosen up the screw. You can sometimes get it loose and then just kind of turn it with your finger and just kind of tap it to where you want it to be. So say we want to make a 3/4 inch buttonhole. We're going to move it to the 3/4 inch spot and then righty-tighty. Tighten it back down. Okay. So this tells the machine how long to make the buttonhole. You can go all the way up to a 1 1/4 inch buttonhole or all the way down to a 1/4 inch buttonhole. But we're going to do a 3/4 inch buttonhole now. Okay. I'm going to close this up. Make sure you put the tool back so that the next person can use it. We've threaded everything with pink thread, and we also have a pink bobbin thread in here as well. So now we're gonna sew a buttonhole. So the first thing you want to do with the buttonhole is to prepare your fabric. Most of the time I have some sort of a marking on my fabric, and I've also put some sort of an interfacing so that I know where the buttonhole should start and end. I'm just kind of eyeballing a 3/4 inch buttonhole here, and I'm going to go through 2 layers of fabric, but usually you would want to put some sort of a fusible interfacing on the back to give the buttonhole a little bit more stabilization. All right, so to operate the machine, we're going to turn it on here. Okay, make sure that the needle is threaded from back to front, and if you change the color, when you get ready to get started, just hold on to the thread. But now we're ready to make a buttonhole. So there's 2 pedals that operate the machine. Left pedal lifts and right pedal sews. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to lift the machine and we're going to place our fabric at the end of the buttonhole where we want to start. You should be able to see it in this window here. So if we want to start right there, we want to put the buttonhole marking right inside the window. Alright, so place it in there where you'd like it to be, and then release the left pedal to let it go down. Now, the right pedal is going to be completely depressed and then completely released. Do not ever press both pedals at the same time, or try to press the pedal again while the machine is in motion. You just need to depress the pedal all the way down one time and release it, and it's going to do all the work for you. Don't ever turn the power off on the machine while it's running because it will jam up the motor. Alright, so now we're ready to sew. So I'm just holding on to this, and I'm going to press the right pedal all the way down and let it go. Wonderful. Now when we're ready, press the left pedal, and it's going to lift and cut the thread. Okay, when you're ready to go on to the next one, you should be all set up. In a perfect world, you would have markings on your pedal. So left pedal lifts and lowers, right pedal completely depressed, and let it go, and left pedal will lift and cut. And essentially that's all you need to know about the buttonhole machine. When you're finished, make sure that you turn it off, and if you change the thread color, change it back to white so that the next person will be able to use a neutral color.